A key word or phrase in what I'm going to discuss is the term or the word now. Now there seems to be an issue. Black folks have been trying to tell you certain things for so long, but nobody ever wanted to listen. They want to blame it on culture, history, lack of trying, lack of self-discipline. And I'm not going to be one who's going to say none of that had any part to play in it, because it certainly does. But there's another aspect to it, and that is that some people just don't like you because of your ethnicity and or your race. Welcome to the breakdown. We're going to break down more Americans figuring out, stepping around and figuring out that, maybe they really just don't like us. Maybe there is some people out there who just don't like us. And before I get started here, I want to point out Miss Heather Cox Richardson, who is an historian who has also sounded the same alarm that I'm sounding as well. Here is Miss Heather Cox Richardson on a guest on a show, Hajat Ali. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Forgive me if I'm butchering it. Heather Cox Richardson, MAGA's white supremacy is now, with that word I wanted to stress, out loud, and America must fight back. So here's a white lady who is kicking back, and I appreciate her and any other person, any other ally. But the fact of the matter is that black folks have been telling you this for the longest time. For the longest time, we're talking about Trump's MAGA. Remember, in his first term, he called some of these countries S-hole countries. None of this should be surprising. As I record this, just over the past weekend, I had an intense conversation with other individuals who were kind of surprised at what he's doing. But I'm like, did you not pay attention to his first term? Did you not understand what the man was saying? Did you not understand what his philosophy was? Did you not understand that the man didn't want to leave office? Therefore, we got January 6th. What is confusing about anything that we have seen thus far? So it's confusing and shocking to me that this is so shocking. Let's continue on with this. I'm not going to play anything from this, but this is a video that I wanted for you all to go over and take a look at. Scrolling through my history, right, we come up with Asian Americans expose how they've been used to hinder black success. Another video is Asian Americans break silence again, this time asking Black America for unity. These are compilation videos of TikTokers and other, Instagram TikTokers, etc., explaining what has happened to black folks, why there's never been a Black Asian solidarity coalition, and all that. And so another point that I want to come up with is you can see this with Kyle Kaczynski from the Secular Talk. You can see that word right there. Seemingly high, Tucker Carlson crashes on Piers Morgan, and they're talking about members of the LGBT community and what it means to be LGBT and how it hinders birth rates and all that. My point is that Asian Americans are waking up. Indian Americans, as I have discussed in another episode, are also waking up. And now this time we're going to get a wake up shocker from the Somalian community. So I use the term wake up because some people seem to be sleeping, and the term wake up or woke and all this kind of stuff, it comes from obviously us, because some people are walking around here under the impression that everything is okay because they're doing well and successful, that racism is over and that it has died out. I certainly would agree that wholeheartedly and on a vast scale, racism has declined, but it hasn't completely disappeared. And every once in a while, it's going to rear its ugly head and try to make a resurgence. And so therefore, again, according to Heather Cox Richardson, we must fight back. So this is an interview with Charlemagne the God of the Breakfast Club and a man, Larry Elder, talking about the Negro wake-up call. And so I want to play this just to get a definition of what the wake-up call really is.
You probably got to go. Have you ever heard of the term nigga wake-up call?
No.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, brother.
I'm not going to continue to play that because I don't want to get demonetized, and Breakfast Club is pretty good with doing that. So anyway, the question, that was the definition that Charlemagne gave. It's a brutal incident that causes you to wake up and say, man, you really are still an African-American, an Hispanic, Asian, Somali, Ethiopian, whatever. And you think that your proximity to whiteness, and that was some of the Asian videos or the compilation videos that I put up on the screen for you to go over and watch them another time. That's what they were talking about. You think that you're trying to be close to white, being ashamed of your own heritage, ashamed of who you are, and trying to be in proximity to white people. And eventually they're going to come for you. Eventually they're going to come for you. So this time, now they're coming after the Somalis. So let's take a look at what some Somali Americans were doing and endorsing, and who they endorse for the 2024 presidential election. Let's take a look at that.
And the reason why is because he's a fighter. That's it. We like fighters. More importantly, the left left us. They left us. 33% of our kids at third grade cannot read at grade level. We went from the 6th to what, 19 now? In Minnesota in education? I mean, we are failing in every standard. 8th graders, 60% cannot do math at grade level. These are our kids. We talk about economic conditions here. Our conditions is horrible. We can't afford anything as working class and middle class people. Now, please understand this. We love our brothers and sisters who are Democrats, but you left us. And because the left left us, join the right, vote for Trump 2024, vote for Joe Trabe 2024, vote for Mazie Young in St. Paul 2024, vote for Tad Jude in CD3 2024, vote for Tom Emma, our lion, out of St. Cloud. Farhan is here and is endorsing him. And please go out and vote, because voting for Trump without soldiers is giving him a failure. So,
okay, I'm going to leave it up there. You get the point there. So this man is stumping for Trump at this particular time. But let's look and see how Trump paid this man and his whole community back for going out there and then advertising for the vote. So this is President Trump just a few weeks ago. Watch, Trump says he doesn't want Somali migrants in the U.S., calls these people garbage and trash and all that kind of stuff, right?
Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I can say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
All right, so you can see that that's what this man believes, wholeheartedly, saying it with his chest. Okay, so here we're going to take a look at the same guy, the same guy. I think this is the same guy. I'm pretty confident saying this is the same guy who once stumped for Trump, now saying, oh man, this is crazy, right? Let's take a listen to him as he goes on after Trump's tirade.
What would you say to the president if he were standing here right now?
Mr. President, we campaign for you. We have hope in you. We see hope in you. Please differentiate between good, bad, and evil.
That's a Somali immigrant who voted for President Trump in 2024, but now Trump is demonizing Somalis in America, specifically here in Minnesota.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
I got 5 children. My children are no garbage. I campaigned for the president in 2024. I actually went out and we reached 50 million people endorsing Trump 7 days before the election.
What drew you to the president?
Because we believed he was an agent of chaos. We couldn't afford anything back then. There was a fentanyl crisis. There was an issue of affordability. The living standards went down. Crime issues. These are 5 very important things to us. And we believe that Trump would be the solution to it. I've been a Republican for over 25 years. I'm not going to stop being a Republican. But what I do know is for a fact is we're getting killed out here because people are saying, we told you so.
What would you say to the president if he were?
We told you so. Seems to be a recurring theme. Post Trump's verbiage concerning Somali Americans, here's another Somali American who once backed Trump, who is now saying he's going to leave at least the Republican Party. Let's take a listen to him.
We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage. The president was talking about Somali immigrants. You are Somali American. What's your reaction to what you heard from the president this week?
Well, it was very dehumanizing and is very unpresidential coming from the commander-in-chief of the United States to dehumanize and to dehumanize a whole entire community by calling them garbage. And this is not acceptable by any means.
You posted on social media, I, Salman Fiki, am formally announcing that I'm ending all collaboration with the Republican Party. Have you ended your support for the president? Tell me more about what led you to your decision.
Well, the reason why this decision came about is because it was long. It was a long simmering, as it was dragging from ever since the president got elected. So, and I was monitoring his performance in many fronts, and he seems not delivering on the promises that he promised the country or the people that actually voted for him. So, and the last that broke the camel back was when he called Somali community as a garbage.
That was the straw that brought the camel's back. We knew that this was the type of man that he was. We understood this. We can understand that during his first administration, he said these countries were S-hole countries. He told you what he was going to do as far as deporting people. You thought you were safe. You thought it was going to be just drug dealers. You thought it was going to be the, quote unquote the murderers and rapists and all that. That's who you thought he was going to go after. But he's going after anyone and everyone. And to my white brothers and sisters out there, as I pointed out at the beginning of this, Heather Cox Richardson has pointed this out as a problem and issue as well. And how is that going for those of you who are poor, who are struggling from day to day, check to check, SNAP benefits on the chopping block, insurance rates set to skyrocket if something doesn't happen? For the farmers out there, what do you think about the beef industry? What do you think about the $40 billion that have gone to Argentina? This is the issue that we're dealing with. This is the man and the type of man that we're dealing with and the administration that he's dealing with. The previous Somali Trump stumper at one time said, it's not only him, but you got to put other people in power. So you put these other people in power, all Americans, well, not all Americans, but those who voted for them, put all these people in power. And now look at the havoc that they're wreaking on the American public, the American economy, trade system, tariffs, etc. It's all crazy. It's all crazy. And listen, don't take this as me stumping for the Democratic Party, because I think that they're a mess as well. I think we're in a one uni-party system, one collective uni-party that is, one bird of two wings, trying to, divide us. But they're doing the same thing. The wars haven't stopped. Trade hasn't gone down, or trade is whatever the deficits are, they still are. Tariffs are a mess. Everything that this man has promised, to my estimation, has been a mess. He's making some communities safer by rolling in the military. I'm not in favor of that at all. As a former law enforcement officer, I'm not in favor of bombing boats. I'm not in favor of going to war in Iran. I'm not in favor of any of that. Not in favor of any of it. So, all right. So we're going to leave this off here. Well, actually, I got two more things here. So Somali Republican disappointed by Trump's comments, right? 16 months after standing behind Donald Trump at a campaign rally in St. Cloud, Salman Fikri is disappointed by the president's comments calling Somalis garbage and that he doesn't want in the country. What we're saying, it's subjecting the whole community to violence, said Fikri. And that is true. When you start calling people garbage and names and dehumanizing them and using other forms of dehumanizing language, it gives other people license to enact violence upon those communities. This is where we get lone wolves, shooters, etc. His rhetoric was not only offensive, but it has the potential of creating more disasters towards Asian communities, Indian communities, African American communities. This is the problem with all this. This is the problem. Said Sikwi, a small business owner in Burnsville who ran for state rep as a Republican in 2024. Why it matters, Democrats lost Somali support in 2024 election in Fikri, had hoped that Minnesota Republicans could continue to bring more of them into the fold as they share some of the party's conservative beliefs. Because socially, I think a lot of people, they look to get people, they being the Republican Party, hope to get people because of their conservative values. You can court the Hispanic vote or Latinx votes, whatever, because many of them are Catholic and because they'll go along with, the baby deletion ideas and the trans issues and LGBT matters, etc. But this is what they really think about you on an economic scale, and what they think of you. They want to sort out their own party and throw you out of it. They'll take your votes to get in party, but once they're in, they're going to try to maintain power. They're going to do all this kind of crazy stuff, say all kind of crazy things, make all kind of recordings like the youth, like those young Republicans who weren't that young in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, right? But then they get classified as young people because, racism again. So this is the issue that all Americans have to deal with and look squarely in the eye and ask ourselves, what kind of country do we want to be? What kind of country do we want to be? Everything came crashing down after these attacks, Fikri said on Wednesday. Reality check. While Kamala Harris did lose some support in East African precincts in 2024, she still garnered 80% of the votes in those areas. And she still got 87% or so, or 80 or 90% of the African American vote. Right? So not all individuals are jumping ship quite as people are thinking. But this is the problem. Because we only have a two-party system, which I'm going to call a one-party system, because we only have that, people still think that it's okay to go along with this type of nonsense. And they still think it's okay not to vote in a certain way, or only to be limited in a vote. And that's why I certainly harshly and strongly suggest that we develop a third party that is a working class party who is concerned about the environment, concerned about economics, concerned about the working poor, the working class people, who is concerned about those people and all these different coalitions. Absolutely. Why we need to get that, because this uniparty that is concerned about the 1% and beholden to billionaires and billionaires, as Bernie Sanders would say, is flushing us all down the toilet. They care about none of us. Between the lines, ask if he should have seen this coming, given the things Trump said about immigrants in his first term. Fikri noted that Hispanics and African Americans had also been vilified by Trump and increased their support for him in 2024 due to his inflation, education, and economy. We were giving him the benefit of the doubt, he said. The alternative to Kamala Harris was even worse. Well, how's that working out for all those different groups that he named? How is that working out for all of us? The latest Fiku said he's also disappointed the statewide Republican leaders aren't condemning Trump's comments. Why are you disappointed in that? Again, you should have seen this coming. If they didn't condemn all the other racist things that they said about African Americans, remember, I wanted to title this Now. Now this is a problem. You weren't concerned about those types of things then. Now he's coming after you. Now he went after Indian Americans. Now he went after Asian people when he talked about the Wuhan virus and all this other kind of nonsense, right? Now he wants to come after. Now it's an issue. And we're still going to vote for this man because we're looking at the bigger picture of the economy and violence and other things that are important. I'm not going to say they're not important. They are important. U.S. Rep. Tom Emmer went on Fox News on Wednesday and claimed that Somalis were committing 80% of the crime in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Okay. I don't know whether that's true or not. I mean, how many of them are there? How many of them are, if it's what's the percentage of them in the city? There's so many other factors that have to go along with that. I would like to send a message to Minnesota's GOP, stand up and have a spine and talk about the issue because a lot of their constituents are going to be affected by this and they had to stand up now and show sympathy for the Somali community. Again, you should stand up for not only the Somali community, but all communities and stand up for your own pocketbook and see the financial and economic harm that I believe, I'm no economist, that I believe that this man and his administration is doing. Never mind separating us, keeping us divided. Never mind all the other stuff. So I'm going to leave this off here with a video, an audio that I did with Miss Amari Adaway, who is herself in Master's in Public Health, a Somali born, now is a naturalized American citizen. I believe she's naturalized. Who does work in the Minnesota area. And she came on my podcast, was called Captain Hunter's Podcast, in which we were talking about skin bleaching. And I asked her at the end of the interview, does she consider herself a black woman? I'm going to leave that off there. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section. We'll also link the full description or the full link to the full show speaking about skin bleaching with Miss Amari Adaway. Until next time, much love and peace. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So I have two more questions, and then I'll let you go. This one's going to be a trick question. You've been here for 20 years?
Yes.
Are you an African American?
That's so here is the thing. I always say myself I'm African born. I also sometimes say myself African American because I am American citizen.
Okay. So that's a yes.
Okay, I'm a Somali American.
Okay.
I fit in all of these. I'm a black woman, so I'm Muslim, so I fit in all of these.
You check a lot of boxes.
Yes.
Okay.